King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah is the main antagonist of the Showa Godzilla movies, first appearing in the 1964 film Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. He is basically the golden dragon equivalent of that one cousin who shows up uninvited, eats all your snacks, sets your house on fire, and then flies off like nothing happened. He is a giant golden three-headed extraterrestrial dragon kaiju who travels from planet to planet, destroying them and their entire life populations before setting his sights on the Earth. He would then become the ultimate weapon of various alien races, including the Fictionized and Nebula space hunters, the Ghidorahs, and the Kilaks. He's evil mostly because he can be. He's from space, which already makes him sketchy. And instead of using his cosmic powers for good, like helping alien puppies or writing poetry, he chooses mayhem. His hobbies include yelling at Godzilla, electrocuting cities for fun, and being a general drama queen with lightning breath. Honestly, if chaotic evil were a job title, Ghidorah would already be regional manager. He shows cruelty and hatred towards all living beings that he encounters, human or not, even when they pose no threat to him, and he just maliciously slaughters them simply for pleasure rather than just mere hunger, self-defense, or a desire to survive. Alien X. Alien X is a celestial sapien, an immensely powerful and nearly omnipotent being whose DNA is one of the Omnitrix's rarest and most formidable samples. As Alien X, Ben's consciousness merges with two internal personalities, Serena, the voice of emotion, and Bellicus, the voice of aggression, creating a triad of power, decision-making, and restraint. Alien X ranks among the strongest gods in the Ben 10 universe due to near-limitless control over reality, time, and space. He can reshape the universe at will, create or destroy matter, and travel across time and dimensions without limitations. However, despite his cosmic might, he rarely acts because Serena and Bellicus must both agree before Ben can use him, and even minor indecision stalls powerful feats. Within the classic Ben 10 series, Alien X only appears in 2 key episodes. In his debut, Ben transforms into Alien X to defeat 2 seemingly unstoppable enemies threatening Earth. While he easily defeats them, a misunderstanding leads Serena to erase Ben's memory of turning into Alien X. In his return, which comes at a moment of dire need, Ben again becomes Alien X to undo massive temporal damage inflicted by adversaries. With cosmic power, he reconstructs shattered reality and repairs the timeline. But again, internal consensus delays action, highlighting the practical barrier even for a godlike being. Alien X's influence is woven into the fabric of Ben's greatest challenges. His actions are not flashy battles, but universe-altering interventions, extinguishing threats, reversing catastrophic events, and restoring cosmic order. Despite seldom being used, whenever he steps in, consequences ripple across reality itself, cementing his reputation as one of Ben's most powerful transformations. The Kree. The Kree are a fictional alien race from Marvel lore, a highly advanced militaristic species that hail primarily from the planet Hala in the Palma system, part of the Large Magellanic Cloud. They are humanoid in appearance, especially the pink-skinned variant, but the true or purebred Kree typically have blue skin, distinct internal organs, and physiology adapted to their homeworld's higher gravity and nitrogen atmosphere. Over time, a pink-skinned branch evolved or derived through crossbreeding, which more closely resemble humans in appearance but still retain Kree strengths and durability. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Kree are likewise portrayed as a major interstellar imperial power, enforcing their dominion over many worlds and emphasizing military discipline, advanced weapons, genetic engineering, and biotechnology. They were deeply involved in the origin of the Inhumans. Via experiments on Earth, they wage wars with rival species like the Skrulls, and they exert control through centralized power structures such as the Supreme Intelligence or Imperial governments. Their technology is astronomically advanced: weapons, starships, genetic engineering, meaning they can project power across star systems and overwhelm less advanced civilizations. They have significant biological advantages: stronger physique than humans, higher durability, regenerative capacities, and in some cases additional powers or enhancements. Their society is ruthlessly strategic and expansionist. They often engage in conquest, exploitation, and war without hesitation. Because of this combination of high technology, superior physiology, ruthless imperial ambition, and powerful masterminds, the Kree represent a threat that is not just brute force, but also systemic, strategic, and existential to other species. Trisolaran. The Trisolarans are a fictional alien species from Liu Cixin's remembrance of Earth's past trilogy and related lore. They come from the planet Trisolaris in the Alpha Centauri system, a world bound to 3 suns whose chaotic orbits make climate and survival extremely unstable. Because of the extreme environmental instability, their civilization has repeatedly been destroyed by chaotic eras. When the planet's orbit goes wild, hundreds of previous civilizations have perished. To cope, Trisolarans develop the ability to dehydrate their bodies, turning into a dormant, fiber-like state in which they are inert and can survive for centuries, though in that state they cannot think or act. Their communication is extraordinary. They transmit thoughts via electromagnetic signals produced directly by their brains, merging speech and thinking. In terms of technology, they are far ahead of humanity. They can manipulate subatomic particles, alter physical constants in localized space, and have developed curvature drives that allow extremely fast acceleration and deceleration. One of their most fearsome tools is the Sophin, a sentient probe made from a single proton crafted into a device that can observe, communicate instantaneously, and sabotage human scientific progress. The Trisolarans are considered among the deadliest aliens in fiction because they combine near-godlike science and engineering, near-universal surveillance via Sophins, weapons that can strike without warning, droplets, and sheer strategic patience and ruthlessness. Forerunners. The Forerunners are an ancient and highly advanced alien species in the Halo universe, also called the Firstborn, who once ruled a vast civilization, the Ecumene, across millions of worlds in the Milky Way. They believe themselves to be the rightful custodians of life, carrying the philosophical responsibility called the mantle passed down from an even more primordial race called the Precursors. They were biologically humanoid in form, but much taller, underwent artificial mutation to adapt for their various roles: builders, warriors, lifeworkers, Prometheans, etc., and used powerful body assist armor to enhance their physiology and extend their lifespans effectively indefinitely. They are considered one of the deadliest alien races in fiction for several reasons. First, their technological mastery is beyond nearly any other known species. Their weapons, starships, installations, and artifacts operate on scales that ordinary civilizations cannot even imagine. Second, their final measure against a galaxy-devouring parasite called the Flood was to activate the Halo Array, super weapons capable of wiping out all sentient life in the galaxy to deny the Flood hosts, showing that they wield absolute destructive power. Third, even after millennia of presumed extinction, individual Forerunners such as the Eurodidact are able to awaken, wield massive armies. Prometheans attempt to digitize entire populations and pose existential threats to humanity. Finally, the remnants of Forerunner technology are so pervasive and potent that later species, humans, the Covenant, etc., struggle to use or defend against them, giving the Forerunners a lingering legacy of domination. Zerg. The Zerg are a fictional alien species from the StarCraft universe, often called the Swarm, characterized by insectoid, organic physiology and a hive mind structure. They originate from the world Xeris, but through evolving and expanding they claim many worlds, with their capital world later being Char. Unlike many alien races, the Zerg do not rely on technology. Instead, they evolve biologically, forcing mutations and selecting the strongest traits from assimilated species, weaving them into their own genome. Their society is structured through a hive mind. An overmind, or later rulers like the Queen of Blades, exerts psionic control with subordinate cerebrates, broodmothers, overlords, queens, and specialized strains, all acting as extensions of the collective consciousness. Because many individual Zerg are of low intelligence, their strength lies not in cunning at the individual level, but in ruthless efficiency and mass under the collective's guidance. They rank among the deadliest aliens in fiction for several reasons. Their sheer numbers and reproduction speed allow them to overwhelm opponents by attrition or swarming tactics, often forcing foes to fall back simply because they cannot match the swarm's scale. Their adaptive evolution makes them highly resilient. They mutate rapidly, discard weak traits, and absorb useful genetic traits from other species to become stronger, tougher, or more specialized. Key leaders like the Overmind or the Queen of Blades, Sarah Kerrigan, infested and merged with the Zerg, add psionic power, strategy, tormenting intelligence, and capacity to control entire broods telepathically. By combining overwhelming numbers, regenerative biology, and unified command, the Zerg become a nearly unstoppable existential threat in the StarCraft universe. Pod People. The Pod People, also known as the Body Snatchers, are a fictional alien species first introduced in Jack Finney's novel, The Body Snatchers, and later popularized by its film adaptations. They are a parasitic and replicative species from a dying planet whose sole drive is survival and the expansion of their kind. Their modus operandi is chillingly subtle. Pods or seed-like organisms drift through space, propelled like spores, and upon reaching a habitable world they take root and produce doppelgangers of the native species, humans in Earth's case, while the originals disintegrate once the duplication is complete. These duplicates perfectly mimic physical form, memories, and mannerisms, but are stripped of emotion, individualism, and genuine consciousness. Depending on the adaptation, the duplicates live for about 5 years and cannot sexually reproduce. In some versions, the transformation happens while their human hosts sleep. They are regarded as one of the deadliest alien villains in fiction because their threat is insidious and absolute. They do not merely attack or destroy, they replace and erase identity. They corrupt society from within, leaving no visible line between us and them, and so trust becomes meaningless. The horror lies in the idea that anyone could already be a duplicate. Their perfection in replication makes detection nearly impossible until it's too late. Moreover, their invasion is comprehensive. They intend to eradicate the native species, exhaust planetary resources, then move on to fresh worlds. Combine. The Combine is not a single alien but an interdimensional empire composed of many species and technologies, which conquers worlds, assimilates its dominant species, and reshapes them to serve its ends. On Earth, the Combine invaded via the portal storms triggered at Black Mesa, won the conflict that came to be known as the 7-Hour War, and subjugated humanity into a brutal dystopian regime. They rule through a military force called Overwatch, which includes transhuman soldiers, humans surgically and cybernetically modified, mind-wiped, augmented, and made fiercely loyal. They also use synths, which are biomechanical creations or assimilated alien life forms, and powerful non-humanoid units, striders, gunships, advisors, that combine organic and mechanical elements. One of the deadliest aspects of the Combine is their scale, diversity, adaptability, and ruthlessness. They wage genocide, suppress human reproduction via a suppression field, drain the planet of resources, pacify dissent via surveillance and propaganda, and employ weapons powered by exotic dark energy. Moreover, many Combine units continue to be human in origin but are twisted beyond humanity, making them dangerous foes whose tactics, coordination, and resilience surpass ordinary alien invaders. Their leaders, the advisors, are enigmatic, telekinetic, and capable of manipulating victims' minds or extracting information with lethal precision, making them terrifying puppeteers behind the vast machinery of control. The Combine's combination of interdimensional reach, technological supremacy, bioengineering, mass control, and ruthless oppression makes them among the deadliest alien forces in fiction. Hey everyone! Thank you all for watching until the end. I'll be back with more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe.